Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all well. So in this video we are going to be reviewing Ready Player One, and I'm just going to say off the bat, I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was so cool, and it's about the not too distant future where people have become a little bit despondent about the real world and instead love to enter the virtual world, which in this movie is known as the Oasis. Now in the Oasis, people can become anyone that they want and do anything that they want to as well, in this kind of massive multiplayer online gaming world where everyone is on a bit of a quest to try and own the Oasis, which I will explain why in a moment. Now the movie is just absolutely insane. You can see why all of the people in this world absolutely love going into the Oasis, and at 2.5 hours long in terms of the film's length, it's just, you don't really feel it at all. You just absolutely go with it, you're immersed in this world, and you're just loving every single minute, which I'm going to break down exactly why I think this movie is absolutely awesome in this video review. Now this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg and is set in the year 2045, where a character called James Halliday has created the entire immersive world of the Oasis. Now before dying, James Halliday kind of set everyone in the Oasis a bit of a quest, which is to find his 3 hidden keys, and the person that does find it will be able to unlock a chest which contains his Easter egg, and the person who has the Easter egg will be the new owner of the Oasis. So this has naturally led to people from all over the world trying to find the hidden keys and trying to get the Easter egg so that they can control the Oasis. This has also meant that corporations are also trying to get their hands on these keys and the Easter egg as well, the lead villain of which is called Nolan Sorrento, who owns Innovative Online Industries, and he is desperate to try and get his hands on the Easter egg so that he can control the Oasis, with his aim of trying to monetize it through advertising, which is just very typical of what corporations want to do. As soon as they've created something that they know a lot of people love, then they want to kind of put advertising all over it. So I feel like it's a really nice reflection of how corporations work. And the film is focusing its attention on the lead character, who is called Waithe, and his avatar in the world of the Oasis is called Percival, and along with his little crew of members, he is trying to also get his hands on the 3 keys and the Easter egg so that he can control the Oasis as well. So in terms of the cast and characters in this movie, whilst I do agree with the criticism that this movie gets, in terms of it could have done more character development with its great roster of characters, I also think it's probably sufficient, the amount that they do, because you are able to kind of follow their journey really well. So let's go through the main players one by one. So first up we have Sheridan, who plays Waithe / Percival, who is looking to try and improve his life in the real world, and so escapes into the Oasis to try and win the prize. And his vehicle of choice is the DeLorean from Back to the Future, but also has Knight Rider's Kit's scanner in there as well, which is just really cool. Next up we have Olivia Cooke, who plays Samantha Cooke / Artemis in this movie, and she kind of played Waithe and Percival's love interest, and she has a personal vendetta against Innovative Online Industries and really wants to stop them and fight against them in this movie. We then have the lead villain in this movie, who's played by Mendelsohn, and his character is called Nolan Sorrento, and he will do anything that he can to try and own and run Oasis. He won't let anyone or anything kind of get in his way, and his corporation has people constantly playing this game, and they are known as Sixers. He does do some pretty dark things in the real world and in the virtual world in this movie, but I would say that his lead character isn't as awfully bad as he was in Rogue One. We then have Rylance, who is the geeky creator of the Oasis, and in this movie he plays James Halliday, who is really admired by the Waithe character. We then have a lot of supporting cast members in this movie as well. So first up we have Waithe / Percival's friends and colleagues known as H, Dioto and Show. And actually, even though they're supporting cast members, they do actually get a decent amount of screen time, and you do kind of find out a little bit more about them. And as a team unit, they all work together really well. We also have Simon Pegg in this movie as well, and he plays a character called Morrow, who was the co-creator alongside James Halliday for this world. We then have iRock, who is a bit of a in-house mercenary type character who knows all of the best gadgets and all of that sort of stuff, and he kind of helps Nolan Sorrento. And then speaking of Nolan Sorrento, we kind of have his second in command as well, who does a lot of the crazy things in the real outside world. And then finally we have Wade Watts' aunt and her abusive boyfriend as well. I think this is really where the criticism comes from, in terms of these characters really not being that fleshed out, in terms of something happens to these characters and the impact of which isn't really felt because you don't really know these characters that well and you don't really see that much of a connection with the Wade Watts' character. But you know, that being said, as I've kind of gone through all of the characters, I'm sure you can tell that all of them are actually pretty decent in this movie, and they work together really, really well to make Ready Player One an awesome film. So in terms of the visuals of this movie, I really feel like this section is really where Ready Player One really does come into its own, as the visuals are just absolutely mind-blowing. The world of the Oasis is just so immersive and you just love escaping into it. It just looks absolutely incredible, and you can just really tell that they have a very healthy budget, which I believe was at around $175 million, and you can really tell as everything just looks absolutely insane, absolutely mind-blowing, and just absolutely incredible in this movie. You can just tell why everyone in this world just wants to escape into the Oasis, as it just looks absolutely incredible, and really it just makes you want to escape into that as well. All of the pop culture references as well in this movie, I do feel like this movie is pretty much littered with pop culture references, but that being said, it is its own thing enough to not overly rely on it. So it's nice kind of cherries on the top, but not kind of being the core of this movie. So as far as the visuals go in this film, they are just absolutely magnificent. So in terms of comparisons, I do honestly feel like Ready Player One is definitely in its own category. As far as movies that kind of depict a future world, I think is just absolutely one of the best ones out there. But in terms of comparing it to other kind of video game-esque type films, I think it is just in a totally different league compared to Pixels. I just feel like it's 20 million times better than that movie ever was. I'd say it's also a lot better than Detective Pikachu as well. That was a really immersive kind of world into the Pokemon world, but I do feel like Ready Player One is probably better than that movie. As far as Wreck-It Ralph and Sonic the Hedgehog movie go, I'd say it's probably equal to those two. Obviously from a visuals point of view, it is a lot more superior, but I feel like those movies have a really compelling storyline. So as far as those movies are concerned, I would say it's probably on par with them. But you know, Ready Player One is definitely an award-winning film. So in terms of my predictions about what's going to potentially happen in the sequel to Ready Player One, which is going to be Ready Player Two, they have already disclosed that the Wade Watts character is going to find a new riddle and a new quest hidden from Halliday, which is going to make the whole world addicted to playing in the Oasis again. This time though, the new lead villain is going to be even more relentless than the Nolan Sorrento character, and is not going to be afraid to kill people in the real world and in the virtual world. So there's obviously going to be a lot more adventures, a lot more pop culture references, and this time I don't think everybody is going to survive. In terms of what the thing that everyone's fighting for, if it's going to be bigger than owning the Oasis and having all of Halliday's fortune, maybe it's something like, you know, being able to control the internet or something to do with controlling the world, which is why everyone is again wanting to win this quest and why this villain is going to be even more relentless. But you know, whatever happens, I am confident that Ready Player 2 is going to be another absolutely brilliant movie. So overall, I'm sure you can tell, I absolutely loved Ready Player One. It was one of my favourite movies of all time. I think Steven Spielberg definitely pulled it out the bag, as this movie is just so captivating. It's just such a fun ride from start to finish. All of the characters are really, really cool, and the world that they've created of the Oasis just comes to life so brilliantly. Now, like I said before, you just want to enter it yourself and just kind of interact with all of these different characters and kind of do loads of things in the Oasis. So I hope somebody is able to recreate it for us, as it is just an absolutely awesome thing. And for all of those reasons, I just have to give Ready Player One a solid 8 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think, so please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.